What's wrong with you? Like, you should know better than that. I'm a first-time home buyer. You should know better than that. You should know that you should inform your client that you're not on schedule. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jamillia B, and I'm going to tell you guys about how we closed on our house 9 months past our original closing date. This is for a new construction home, so if you are building a new home from scratch, a new construction, this story is for you because you definitely want to make sure that you do not end up how we ended up. So just a little backstory, we put in our original purchase offer for our home March of 2019. Now, we had been looking for homes since 2018, and originally where we were looking, turns out it wasn't going to work out for us, and we decided we could get more for our money if we got a new construction home. We could have more say in how things went, and hopefully we are able to know that things are a little bit more up to date and there will be less things down the line to shock us. There's always going to be something down the line to get you. It's a house, it's like a baby. You're always going to be surprised, but we figured with new construction there would be less of a headache for us in the future, and fingers crossed, we're still hoping that. So we put in our purchase offer March of 2019. We looked around for a while in the beginning of the year of 2019, and we found this home and we said, you know what, we really love this. This is what we're looking for. At that time, the construction company or the builders were also trying to sell off a home that was new construction, but it was already built. So you had no say in the style, the color, anything like that. It was already done. And we weren't really interested in that. We wanted to do it from the ground up. So we did not put in an offer for that. Although we did tour that house, we did decide to go a different route and choose a different lot. So if you are not familiar with new construction, you go and you can look at model homes, and then you can decide what lot, basically what piece of land will work for the home that you want, and if that is the area that you want to be in. So for example, if you are on a street and there are 5 lots, you can tour each of those lots, which is just going to be an empty flat piece of land with dirt and rocks, maybe even grass possibly, and you can say, you know what, yes, this is the home that I want here, and we pick this lot and you put in a purchase offer. And a purchase offer has some form of an earnest payment where you say, you know what, we're good for this, we're going to give you a little portion of whatever the cost of the house is. So we're saying here is a certain percentage of that, whatever that builder requires, and that is your earnest payment where you're saying, hey, we're good for it, we want this home, build us this home. We're going to be able to either pay in cash for this full house or get a loan from our lender or whatever it may be. So we put in our offer March of 2019. That is very important to remember. Our offer was accepted instantly, and after that we had to go through contract. So we had to get a real estate attorney, which we did, and then with the real estate attorney, he went through the entire contract. We found a few things that needed to be adjusted, and so that took some time. That was also around April, which is Easter, right? So all of that kind of played into timeline, people having days off, certain things like that. So our contract officially closed end of April into May. So we hadn't broken ground yet. Nothing was done, no foundation was poured or anything like that. We were still waiting for the wording of the contract to work in our favor, which is very, very important. You want to make sure you have a real estate attorney. We did not have a realtor. I found all of these properties on my own, but after all of this, I might say, you know what, work with the realtor, because you want to work with a knowledgeable realtor, I should say that. Someone who is going to be able to give you the heads up on these things, because you personally don't pay the realtor out of your own pocket. The seller pays the realtor out of the end cost, basically sort of their commission that they receive. So the contract officially closes. We wanted the wording to work in our favor, which we were able to work that out. You want to make sure that the contract states things that you will be able to get your money back if things fall through, which is very, very important. You don't want to lose your money. It's your money, so you want to make sure you get that back. So basically the contract said everything that we needed it to say, but one thing that really stood out to me was our closing date, which was October of 2019. Now remember, we put in our purchase offer in March, so let's count. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That was 7 months from our purchase offer being accepted. However, our contract did not close officially until end of April beginning of May. So if you wanted to say it was officially May, that would be May, June, July, August, September, October. 5 months. Now, we were told multiple times that we were still going to be on timeline. Don't worry about it. Everything was fine. That wasn't an issue. So we went ahead and we moved forward with what we needed to do. Now, coming from the city, you live in an apartment, you need to let your landlord know, hey, you know what? We're not going to be moving forward with this apartment. We need to put in so we can move, basically. And as we got closer and closer to that time, we saw that it was not going to happen. So we were now kind of in limbo between, hey, you are soon to be a homeowner, but hey, you also have an apartment that you need to pay rent for. So you can imagine financially how that was playing back and forth. Now, as we got closer to October, we were told every time we kind of went up here to check on the house, things were moving along, but all we could see was foundation being poured, framing going up. And I can tell you one thing about this builder, framing goes up like that. Once the framing is up, once the house is up, it's a desert. Where is everyone? It's silent. What's happening? So we're now in, let's say, the summer of 2019, close to the end of summer of 2019, and the house kind of looks exactly the same as it looked before. So we're kind of confused, like what's going on, what's happening, and we're still being told that we're on schedule. Now, in our contract, I'm not sure what your contract says, so I think you should read it. Obviously, read everything you sign. Never sign anything if you haven't read it, because you'll just be stuck with that forever. You signed it, you have to go by that. So read everything you sign. I don't care if it's a receipt at Target and they ask you to sign it, read it before you agree to it. So the contract stated that they had 1 full year from our original closing date of October 2019 to complete the home before we could say we no longer want this home. So from October 2019 to October 2020 would be no time in between that could we reject this and say we no longer want this. We had to stay and wait and wait and wait and wait. So October comes and goes. We come up November. They tell us, yes, it's gonna be ready. Basically, blah, blah, blah. Thanksgiving is not a big deal. People don't take off the whole weekend. They take off just the Thursday and they come back to work. December comes, it's gonna be ready after Christmas. January comes, it's gonna be ready after whatever holidays we have in January. If no holidays, it's gonna be ready in January. And at this point, I was ready to walk away. I said, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore, because the stress of this now can make you sick. You're dealing with the stress of people who are not being forthcoming. Things are also starting to look different. That's a whole nother story about choosing your lot and the right questions to ask. That's gonna be a whole nother video. But it's something that goes into your spirit and your body. You want to be healthy, but you're dealing with the stress of building a new home, which is supposed to be this joyous occasion. A lot of things in this home we did change. A lot of things that people have in our neighborhood, it's different in our house. Like one thing, for example, I can tell you in our master bathroom, instead of having just regular mirrors, we opted for LED mirrors. So that is something when you see the bathrooms, when you see our master bathroom, you can see we have 2 circle LED mirrors that light up, which was very important to me, because in our old apartment, we had one light, one bulb over the vanity, and it was just horrible. It was yellow, and we couldn't live. It was just horrible. And I said, you know what? It's very important to me that we can see. I want to see. I want lights. So that was a very big thing. Certain upgrades that we put into our home, and certain upgrades that you would want to put into your home as well, not just for aesthetics, but also for functionality and to provide you with a home that's going to last. Just a quick example, for our entryways, we have tile in front of our entryways. We have hardwood floors, but we put tile in those entryway areas because we do live in a 4-season town. And so when it does snow and it rains, you want to have that area to not damage your hardwood floors. And I think that's something that everyone should do. If you're doing a new construction home, I think it's super important. I learned that from Holmes. I call him Uncle Holmes, Holmes. Holmes on, I think he's on DIY Network and not HGTV actually, but I do enjoy watching a lot of home channels. I know people are really into like, what's her name? Fixer Upper, Joanna Gaines. People are really into Joanna Gaines. I like her, she's cool, but I don't really feel like I get from their shows advice on how to really have a home that functions well for your enjoyment as well as for your pockets. Because as a homeowner, you're now paying property taxes, you're paying mortgage, you're gonna have things that you need to get, whether it be a shovel, a mower. So it's important for me to find ways to make my home functional and beautiful, not just for aesthetics only. So when I watch homes, I feel like I get way more information. Every now and then with Property Brothers, they'll try and give you a little example of why they're doing A, B, C, or D, but Homes really breaks it down for you, and he lets you know you want to do this. He's very big on saying protect the home from the outside in, and the home will protect you. And I think that's a very big deal. And I also have a video coming up of how we changed the exterior portion of our home. When we bought the home, it was just full of mulch on the outside, and mulch is a horrible thing to have in the front of your house, because what does mulch do? It holds water, and you're holding the water next to the foundation of your home. You really want to think about that. But again, another video, it's definitely coming up. I have filmed already the exterior that we changed, the front portion at least. We still need to do the full perimeter of our home, but back to the 9 months. I digress. So we are now past our closing date, October, November, December, January. Only 3 months, and we're in January. We head to February. And now in February, I work for VIP Kid, so I knew that something was kind of going on in terms of not exactly what COVID-19 was at that time, but a lot of my students were locked up in their homes, and I knew something was wrong because some of my favorite students were not even in their homes, and they were very uncomfortable. Their moms would tell me, something's going on, we're not able to go out. So I knew something was going on, but I didn't know that that was going to come to our country. And so coming around February, now at February, we were hoping to close around that time. And then COVID comes and everything shuts down. Construction completely shuts down. And at that time, we had hardwood floors in, we had vanities in. I think we were completing the kitchen, and I believe that was it. I think everything else might have been done, but it was a few odds and ends. Maybe like door handles weren't put in yet, or maybe something was in the wrong place that needed to be adjusted. So we have now reached the era of COVID-19 where they completely shut down all construction. And so now we are in March and April, and so now we are October, November, December, January, February, March, 4 months past our closing date. And now some people will say, well, it's COVID-19, you have to be understandable. This has nothing to do with COVID-19. The work ethic of the people that we worked with, thankfully the end goal or the end material, the end product is a good product. And we're hoping that it definitely is, fingers crossed, that as we go down the line, we don't have issues with our home. But the work ethic, when we see that now we're living here, there are some homes around us that are being built, and for weeks and for days, people will not show up. Someone might come and do drywall, and then it's dead silence for a week. So we completely understand now why things take so long and why things were going the way that they were going, because people weren't even here to do the work. So it was understandable seeing it firsthand. So I don't give them a pass because of COVID-19, because again, we closed March of 2019. Well, I'm sorry, we put in our purchase offer March of 2019, which is a good year before COVID even came. And we were told 6 months. So that's the issue that I have. A lot of you might be dealing with new construction, and they might say to you, you know what, it could take up to a year. And we prefer honesty. Honesty. The issue that I have is when you're constantly being told it's going to be ready, I don't want a yes man. I want someone who's going to give me the straightforward and say, you know what, Jamillia, this is what's happening. We don't think it's going to be ready by this year, blah, blah, blah. Because then that allows us to plan as a family. Because back at the apartment, we still have the holiday season. October, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas for November, December. We had half of our things packed in boxes, and half of our things were unpacked because we were ready to go in October. And when we found out we weren't closing in October, to make it worse, one of the people who we work with, it was a husband and wife team, and I called the wife maybe early September, might have been end of the summer, early September. I called the wife to find something out about in regards to our closing. And when I called, she was like, you're not closing anytime soon. Like, what are you talking about? And it literally, it took my breath away, because it wasn't even an apologetic kind of thing. It was more so like, what's wrong with you? Like, you should know better than that. I'm a first-time home buyer. You should know better than that. You should know that you should inform your client that you're not on schedule. And that was a very, very big issue that I have. So when you're going to buy new construction, knock on people's doors and say, do you love living here? How was your building experience? Or look online if it's a super popular, our thing was not a very popular area, so there was not a lot of chatter online, but we knocked on people's doors and we asked them, and everyone after we had already closed, we spoke to certain people and they loved their home. They didn't have any issues. But as we started going down the line and seeing issues, we spoke to more people and they all were like, yeah, someone waited 2 years before their home was complete, before they even moved in. And I just said, oh my God, like, I pray to God that that's not us, because we really can't. When you have a lease in an apartment, you can't do that. You can't really just say, you know what, I'm out. You have penalties that you pay for. And that is not something that I want. I am a mom, I'm a wife, and I need all the coins I can get. I don't need my coins going to anybody else. I want all my coins here for us, for my family. I don't want anybody getting what they shouldn't be getting. So I don't want to pay any penalties trying to come out of a lease early, and I also don't want to put so much money into a home that I don't get to enjoy for 2 years. And the difference for me is, if they would come out and say it's gonna take a year to a year and a half, I would respect that more than you constantly being a yes man. So past COVID, well, COVID is still here, so I'm gonna say past COVID, but past the shutdown, they opened back up construction, and now we're able to move forward. And as we move forward, the home is complete, but we realized in our contract, it did state that we would not have our seeding done. Our seeding is for the grass around your home. Some people get turf, and some people do seeding where they literally put out seed, or they do a hydro seed from a machine. You can look those things up, but that's basically what allows your grass to grow around your home and make it look even more beautiful, like a nice little sitcom TV show home with green grass and a beautiful house. So our contract stated between the months of November to, I want to say March, they were not required to seed if you closed between November and March. So we didn't close between November and March, so they were required to seed. But our neighbor, he closed before that, and he had no seed. And so they came to seed our house, and they didn't seed his house. And I just felt like that was so jacked up. I mean, I would just be so that, like, I wouldn't even have words for that. For you to come and complete something for my neighbor when I was here before them, and you should be doing mine as well. So they did that. They seeded our home. When we got our appraisal done, the driveway was not complete. And the builder said he was waiting for the asphalt guys, and it was going to take a little while, blah, 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 blah. Our appraiser said, no, we're not approving this appraisal. This appraisal is for a seeded lawn and for a completed driveway. And so that set us back as well, because our lender wasn't having it. And to be honest, we were grateful for that, because they were ready to give us an incomplete product, because all the people around us did not have a completed driveway and did not have a seeded lawn. And we didn't want that. And we didn't know how to get around that. And thankfully, the appraiser, he stepped in on his own. We were ready to just move in and deal with it. And he said, no, the appraisal for this home does not include A, B, and C. This is not going to work. So our lender said, no, it's not. They're not having it. And the attorneys, our attorney and the builder's attorney, had to speak, as well as our lender's attorney, about how it's going to be done, how it's going to get fixed. And basically, they had to give us our driveway. And to make it even more annoying, they gave us our driveway with a portion of it incomplete, because they still needed to complete something towards the curb. So even then, we still weren't able to use our driveway. We're now using our driveway, and we're 2 months, almost 3 months into living here. So it's just always going to be something. So now we're getting into June. We do our home inspection. Very important, get your home inspection done. Also do research on your home inspectors, because that was a thing we found as well. But again, another time we can talk about that. But home inspection is completed in June. Driveway is completed beginning of July, due to the appraiser saying, no, this is not approved. I'll be back to give it a full appraisal when the property is fully complete. And so it's completed in beginning of July, and we end up closing close to end of July. So again, we were supposed to close October of 2019, and we closed July 2020. And to count that, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. That is 9 months past our original closing date. Now, for some people, that might not be annoying. If you already have a house and you're living in luxury and you're just like, oh, ta-ta, I'll get to the house when I get there. We were not those people. We wanted to get into our house. It was very important to us. We're very excited to come here and start a new life. We wanted to, just live and enjoy, and you work hard and you save your money and you get money from so many different places that you put together to make this dream come true. And to see it not come true, it's just your heart. It's just, oh my God. So yes, that is what happened to us. We closed 9 months past our closing date. We have been here for almost 3 months, And so far so good. We're still trying to get things situated. I have a lot of videos coming up so I can show you guys. So far we have done the exterior of our home where we changed out certain things and we pest proofed our porch, which is something that needs to be done, which I will be sharing as well. So we've done that so far, and we've done things to our front door, certain things like that, where I wanted to really get things done on the outside perimeter of the home because it's gonna get cold soon, and anything else that I want to do on the inside, I can do inside when it's snowing outside. That's not a problem, but I don't want to be outside in the snow trying to figure out what to style and what to do when it's 10 degrees and it's snow. Nobody really wants to be out in the snow except for kids who want to play in the snow. Like my daughter loves building snowmen and she wants to play in the snow. She can't wait. Me personally, I'm okay. I can wait a little bit. I want to do the winter stuff. I want to do, you know, have hot cocoa and things like that. Appreciate you guys tuning in for listening to the story of how we closed 9 months past our original closing date. These things that came into effect, COVID-19 was one of them, but it was probably 5% of the whole thing. 95% was maybe 90. I'll give them 90% was the work ethic of the people. 5% might have been delays in contracts and purchase offers, but also lack of communication and work ethic is very, very, very high on that list. When you are going to pick out your new construction home, if you're going to work with a realtor, make sure your realtor is very big on communication and they're not afraid to ask the questions that people don't want to answer. Reach out to other people who live in the area and find out how long did it take for them to get into their home? How long was their building process? Do they enjoy the neighborhood? Do they enjoy it? Some people might not want to speak to you and you have to respect that, but hopefully you get somebody like me who'll be willing to chat your ear up and tell you, listen, be careful, ABC, this is what's going to happen, watch your back, da da da. So look out for that as well. And also drive by when it's not your time for your meeting. We did that very often. Coming from the city, we did not have cars. We use Zipcar often. If you live in the city, I definitely recommend using Zipcar. It's very easy to just grab a car and go and park it wherever you need to. But we would get a Zipcar on random days and just pop up and drive by. And you could see nothing happening. Nobody was there, nothing was going on in the house, and they would tell us, oh yeah, tomorrow such and such is gonna come by, or such and such is gonna do this and that. So you have to do your due diligence and make sure that people are actually doing what they say they're going to do. And it was to the point where they sent out a mass email to everyone who was currently building saying you're only allowed such amount of visits to the property, because they were annoyed that we were doing that. And I said, you know what, I'm still going to do it because that's my money, that's my investment, that's me and my family's dollars that are going into this, that it's being affected. You're not. You have your house, you're comfortable, you're relaxing. We're not relaxing, and you're not giving us straightforward answers. So I hope none of you have to deal with this experience where you're not getting a builder or a project manager or a salesperson who is being straightforward with you. Always remember that the end goal for them is just profit and money. Like, what money are they going to make from this? What profit are they going to make from this? They don't really care about your struggle. They should, but that's why a lot of people get a realtor. And if you don't want to get a realtor like we did, for sure get an attorney for your side. The attorney is going to be on your side, so you want someone on your own. Don't let them tell you, oh, we have an attorney, you can use ours. No, get your own attorney. And if you're getting a realtor, get your own realtor. Don't let them suggest a realtor to you, because you want people who are on your team who are going to fight for what it is that you need and what it is that matters to your family. You don't want people who are trying to swindle you. So do your due diligence, speak to people in the neighborhood, look things up online, get a realtor or at least a real estate attorney, because we did not use a realtor. I don't necessarily regret not using a realtor because I have the time to, well, I don't have the time to do it, but I am a stay-at-home mom, or a domestic goddess, as we like to say. And I preferred, because even if I had a realtor, I was going to do the same thing that he or she was going to do anyway and look up all the stuff. So it didn't make sense to me to have one more person to communicate with. But after dealing with everything that I deal with, and as I speak in the other video about choosing the right lot, you will see that having a realtor in that moment might have been beneficial to me, because there were questions that I didn't know I needed to ask. So I will say that. And I hope none of you have to go through this, but I appreciate you staying to hear the story, and I hope you will come back to my channel. I appreciate you guys staying and listening to the story. I hope you guys will come back to my channel and hear the rest of our journey, and also go through the journey with us, because we are first-time home buyers. So we are learning things that we didn't know before, and things that I have learned throughout the last year and a half that I didn't know before that I needed to know. I will be putting out videos. I keep wanting to say movies. I'm gonna call them little movies. I will be putting out movies videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I hope if you've stayed this time that you will subscribe and come back, because I talk a lot. And I like to listen to people talk while I'm doing the dishes, kind of like a podcast, but not a podcast. You know, while I'm doing the dishes, or if you're doing laundry or cleaning up at the night, I like to watch videos where people are more hands-on and talking. I appreciate that. It feels a little bit more personable. And if you ask my husband, I can talk nonstop all day long. So I do appreciate you guys staying. I hope you will come back, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. If you're watching this at the beginning or at the end, enjoy your weekend, and I hope you had a good week. Thank you guys for stopping by. Bye.